I don't really have friends anymore. And to be quite honest, I prefer it. And that's not coming from a place of bitterness. It's coming from peace, from finally understanding myself, because the amount of effort it used to take to maintain friendships, it was just constant, replying quickly so I didn't seem rude, showing up even though I felt burnt out, masking how I actually felt so I wouldn't be too much or too quiet or just whatever label people wanted to stick on me that day. And for what? I used to think that being included made me valuable. If I was invited, liked and talked about, then maybe I was worth something. That just couldn't be further from how I feel now. That version of connection was never real. It was transactional. It relied on me keeping up an act. Now I protect my energy. I don't force conversations, and I definitely don't chase people. I'm okay with being on my own. For the first time ever, I actually feel like me. I don't need to be popular. I need to feel safe. And I found that in solitude, not social circles.
One of the reasons I find solitude to be so powerful is because the more time you spend alone, the less likely you are to be manipulated by people, because you have a heightened level of self-awareness, which allows you to leave environments that do not serve you. Unfortunately, there are a few people that have a low self-esteem, so they will gravitate towards people for the tiniest ounce of validation. When you start to prioritize solitude, you start to develop a greater level of appreciation and respect for your own individual self. You start to develop your own character traits. You start to think independently. You start to prioritize your own authentic self. And as a result, when you are around people that do not respect that or are trying to get something out of you through manipulation, you are not going to tolerate that, because you realize what you can give yourself and you're not going to accept any less from anybody else. And as a result, if that means that people are going to try and manipulate you, be extremely narcissistic, you are comfortable walking away from environments that do not serve the person that you have created and the person that you appreciate, which is yourself.
I think one of the most profound ways to a spiritual catalyst is solitude. Solitude is literally the only time that you truly have, like, with yourself. Like, it's really you versus you. And this is a time where you can literally break down who you are now to build who you see yourself becoming. Like, you don't have any noise around you. It's literally just you versus you. And it's really a time and an opportunity to really go through your habits, go through what you think about yourself, and really break down those old mindsets to become a new person, a new version of yourself. And that's why it's so important to be able to be comfortable with yourself, comfortable with who you are, who you see yourself becoming, and being able to have confidence in, like, oh, nah, like, I'm really becoming her. You get what I'm saying? Like, solitude, it really allows you to just, like, look deeply into yourself, like, damn, like, who actually am I, you know? And I feel like the more that you are complete and whole within yourself, you're not going to tolerate a whole bunch of bullshit when other people try to come in your space, because it's like, I'm already so comfortable with myself, nothing else is messing up this piece that I've already built. You get what I'm saying? So that's why, like, solitude, it has really been teaching me, like, nah, Cam, like, yeah.
The real reason I disappear. Solitude isn't loneliness, it's training. Let me tell you something nobody explains properly. When you disappear for a while, people assume something is wrong with you. They think you're sad, antisocial, bitter, or going through something.
Let me tell you why solitude is important and why I go so much on social media. You need to know who you are outside of the world's influence and outside of all these things that you're taking in on a regular basis. If you are scrolling mindlessly on social media constantly, you are consciously and subconsciously taking in all of this stuff. It's called influence for a reason. And all these things that you're taking in, whether it's positive, negative, sad, happy, it affects you. When you go into solitude, it gives you a chance to tap into yourself and who you are, and it just calms the chaos. There's so much noise in life and in the world. It's important to sit with yourself. I encourage anybody and everybody to take that time for yourself every now and then.
I'm 54, and if you're younger than I am, let me save you some years. You have to realize peace isn't just going to show up one day because you lit a candle and took a nap. Most of your peace is going to come from things you do not want to do. Not the fun stuff, not the easy stuff, the uncomfortable stuff. Like getting up earlier when you know you'd rather sleep, going to the gym when your body feels tired and heavy, walking away from people you still care about, saying no when you're used to saying yes, and being quiet when your ego wants to argue, starting over again. That's where peace is. Not in the fantasy of what your life could be, but in the discipline it takes to build the life you want. Peace is earned, hard earned. It comes from setting boundaries, self-control, discipline, from the thing that stretches you instead of the thing that comforts you. So if it feels hard right now, if it feels some days like you're losing more than you're gaining, that might mean you're actually finally doing it right. Hope that helps.
And sometimes, yeah, you are. But other times, you're not disappearing because you're broken. You're disappearing because you're rebuilding. See, the world is loud, constantly loud. Your phone is loud. Social media is loud. Everybody's opinions, everybody's lifestyles, everybody's highlight reels. You scroll for 5 minutes and suddenly you're questioning your face, your finances, your relationship, your purpose, your breakfast, everything, and you don't even realize it's happening.
Oh, finding peace in solitude. How do you do that, and why should you do that? TikTok told me that this was a trending topic, which means a lot of you guys are interested in this right now. And I jumped on it immediately because this has saved my life. Finding peace in solitude by myself. How do you do that? What does it look like, and why should you? For those of you that feel really uncomfortable when you're all alone, I've been there. I've been the girl that was like, what are you doing tonight? Anybody got plans? Hey, what are you doing? What are you doing? I went through a traumatic divorce. I didn't want to be alone. I didn't want to sit with my feelings because my mind was hell at the time. I did not want to be with myself. And I learned how to, and I got really good at it. And now I love it so much that it takes a lot in me to even go anywhere or do anything with anybody else because I found my peace by myself. It was really hard though. I don't know why you're trying to do this right now. I don't know why you want to find peace in solitude or if you even think that that's possible for you, but I just wanted to share a random video of why I did it and how I did it and how it has changed my life. Because like I said, I was that girl that was texting everybody. I was trying to numb my pain. I wanted to escape myself. I wanted to escape my mind. I did not want to face the things that I was feeling because they were so overwhelming. It's okay to...
One thing I'm learning is that everybody needs a mirror. Everybody needs somebody to reflect back to them who they are, what they're good at, what they need to work on, etc., etc. But one thing about it is that it will always be better to live in solitude than to be around people who reflect a false image back to you. Being around people who reflect the wrong image or reflect a false image or false reflection back to you can literally be the determining factor of if you feel like you're beautiful or not, of if you believe in yourself and feel like you can do all the things that are on your heart or not. Like, people pour into each other. We're meant to do that. We're meant to be in community. And when you're in the wrong community, you will always have to fulfill a role that benefits everybody else except for yourself. Like, they'll make sure to go out of their way to find uses for you instead of genuinely seeing you in the light that you walk in. And a lot of times when you're surrounded by false mirrors, they can't wait to tear down your image because that's more energy for them. That's more of your usefulness, of your kindness, of your insecurity for them. Like, don't let people play on your insecurities. Be aware of what you're insecure about. Be aware of how certain rooms make you feel because you're not imagining things. You're not making up things. Be aware of how other people's energy is rubbing off on you. Like, don't just push that to the side and second guess yourself and feel like, oh, I'm just being paranoid. I'm thinking too much into it. I'm overthinking. No, trust your intuition because a false mirror will always leave you confused. A false mirror will always have you feeling insecure and bad about yourself. And the reality is, that's what they want you to feel, not reality.
Feel like that. It's okay to take baby steps. So I started distracting myself because that's what I was doing. I didn't want to be alone because I wanted to distract myself from the feelings that I was feeling. So I just started distracting myself at home. I picked up some hobbies. I wasn't even very good at them. I didn't care. They were fun. I painted like a toddler. I painted like a toddler in kindergarten with my fingers. I still have those paintings, not because they're good, but because they remind me of a time where I was actually trying to better myself and I wasn't good at it, but I'm proud of myself for starting somewhere. I started making soap, of all things. That actually turned into a business. I would clean my house. I know that doesn't sound like fun. I fucking still hate it. But if you don't have a tidy house, you're probably not going to want to be there, right? Tidy house, tidy mind. You don't have to clean the entire house, by the way. Just start with one room and then sit in that room and sit in the clean room that you just cleaned and don't worry about the rest of the house. Just sit in the clean space because it will make you feel better. Move your body, please. Go on a walk. Go on a silly mental health walk. Just go outside and sit in your grass. Go outside and walk on the sidewalk. Drive somewhere where there are no people, like a park, and have a picnic all by yourself. Maybe put your headphones in. Just put your headphones in, go sit somewhere, go do your own thing. Watch your favorite comfort movie. There's actually a documentary or a little video that I saw, which is so scientific, that said it's actually neural pathways in your brain. The reason why you find that movie comforting is because you used to watch it during a time where your nervous system was regulated. So when you re-watch those movies, for me, it's
Influence is subtle. It doesn't kick your door down. It whispers. It tells you who you should be, how fast you should be succeeding, what your life should look like by now. And if you don't step away from that noise every once in a while, you'll wake up one day living a life that doesn't even feel like yours. That's why solitude matters. Solitude is the only place where nobody's watching you perform. Nobody's clapping, nobody's judging, nobody's expecting anything from you. It's just you and the truth. And let's be honest, that part is uncomfortable at first. Because when you finally sit alone, there's no distraction, no scrolling, no texting, no background noise, just your thoughts. And your thoughts will tell you everything you've been avoiding.
Harry Potter, it will regulate your nervous system because it takes you back to a time when your nervous system was regulated. And it is important to learn how to be alone, to find peace in solitude, and learn how to regulate your own nervous system. That's what the whole point of finding peace in solitude is. You need to understand yourself. You need to understand what your triggers even are and where they come from. I didn't even know why I wanted to distract myself so bad. I didn't even understand how big the emotions were that I was running away from. Therapy. Get yourself into some therapy, please. I will never not recommend therapy. If you can't afford it, do it once a month. Talk to a friend. You don't have friends, talk to a family member. You don't have a family member, write it down. Write it down. Because I didn't have friends or family and I couldn't afford therapy. So I know what you mean when you say that. But the reason why you need to find peace in solitude, the reason why you need to be by yourself, I don't know if it's because you just left a relationship. I don't know if you're trying to be a better person. You're trying to be a better partner. The next time you decide to get into a relationship, maybe you're trying to be a better parent. Maybe you're just trying to better yourself. Maybe you just know that you need to be alone more. Like you're just not very good at it. You need to find your peace being alone. You can't expect your nervous system to automatically, magically regulate itself in a new relationship if you don't even know how to by yourself. How can you be expected to know what to do in an argument with your partner or in a situation with someone else if you don't even know how to do that on your own? You're not going to be able to. And you can't just learn right then and there on the spot. You got to learn how to do that by yourself first. You actually have to practice it. It's practicing. You have to You have to form new neural pathways in your brain, and those can take months to form. I don't mean being in solitude for a week. I don't mean being in solitude for a month. It's encroaching 2 years for me now. And I feel good. I feel at peace. I feel like I've formed new pathways in my brain. I feel that. I can feel those pathways have formed because I react in situations much differently than I did 2 years ago. And I can handle it better. I can handle things better. I feel myself changing. It's been 2 years though. I don't know what that looks like for you. I'm not a medical health professional. I just wanted to shed some light on this because I do think it is very important to learn how to be alone. And I think it's very healing to be by yourself, to learn who you are as a person. Because how can you be better for someone else if you're not better for yourself first?
They'll tell you what drained you, what hurt you, what you tolerated too long, what you actually want. Solitude doesn't lie to you, and that's why people run from it. I used to think being alone meant something was missing. Now I realize being alone is where everything gets found. It's where you learn what actually makes you happy, not what impresses people, not what gets likes, but what genuinely brings you peace. It's where your nervous system finally relaxes, where you're not reacting, not performing, not explaining yourself, just existing. And something strange starts to happen when you spend enough time there. You stop needing constant validation. You stop over-explaining yourself.
Listen, this year I want you to get super comfortable with your solitude. Be intentional. Because 10 minutes of solitude every single day, purposefully, will set you free and help you find solutions to the problems that you have within your life. I've realized over the years that I was running from being alone. I was running from being in solitude because I thought it was an issue with me, instead of realizing that solitude helped me find the things that I need to keep growing. Because I was the type of person that had a ton of people around me, not realizing that it was just a bunch of noise to drown out my issues. But when you're intentional with solitude and you put yourself in solitude on purpose, then you start to find yourself more, which it allows you to grow and find people that are more like-minded like you. And when I got super comfortable with it, when I started to realize that when I turn off the noise around me, when I turn off the TVs, the music, everything, and I put myself into a state of mind where I'm just completely alone with myself, is where I actually found parts of myself that I didn't even know existed. So never run from being alone. Be intentional with it and allow yourself to be within that loneliness or that solitude so that you can find yourself and the solutions that you need to help you reach the next step within your life. I love you.
So when I'm going through something, I tend to isolate. And that isolation will go from days to weeks, then turn to months. And given the level of grief I've experienced, sometimes those months will then turn into years. And now I feel guilty because I really miss my friends, but I don't know how to come out of my isolation because I've become so accustomed to it. Follow me though. I am very, very self-aware. So I try to be very mindful to not carry my heaviness into the spaces with my friends and my family, because we all have heard that saying, misery loves company. And don't nobody like no complaining ass bitch. You know what I'm saying? Like, I know I don't. And when I'm going through something like that's really, really heavy, that's all that's on my mind, is me trying to figure out how to work through this, how to process this, and what do I need to do next to make sure that like I'm healing myself. And if I can't show up as my absolute best, I don't really know how to show up at all. And I know that that's probably, it's not a probably, it is rooted in some trauma throughout my life of needing to be my best honor roll self. So if I am not showing up as my best, I don't know how to show up. I'm very all or nothing. I know that I'm not showing up as my best. So I'm going to isolate and go into myself until I am right. And then I'll pop back out, because I have friends who have children. And unfortunately, I have gone through a lot of heavy shit in the midst of them going through some amazing times in their life. And I have fallen short of showing up for them in their time of need, because I have been going through some crazy shit. And I'm just in a space where, like, I don't know what to say. I don't know how to start the conversation, because imagine your friend sharing you some amazing news about a new discovery their baby made, or something that they discovered themselves that is amazing, and all this good news, and all you have on your brain to share back with them about your life is some heavy, chaotic, emotional shit. And I'm sure it's going to be someone that says, like, well, your friends don't expect you to show up as your best. They accept you as who you are. And you're right. My friends have reminded me time and time again, like, babe, we love you as you are. And I feel that. I accept that. But it's hard for me to accept that for myself. Okay? Are we getting it now? Like, y'all can love me down as I am. I don't know how to accept that for myself. And I'm trying to work through this in therapy. Like, imagine you're in therapy and you're also critically self-aware. Like, you know all the terms,
You stop chasing people who were never choosing you properly, because once you get comfortable with your own presence, loneliness loses its power over you. You're no longer afraid of empty rooms. You're afraid of crowded spaces that make you feel empty. And that's a different level of self-awareness. Solitude sharpens your intuition. You start noticing what feels right and what feels forced. You stop ignoring red flags just because you don't want to be alone. You stop accepting crumbs just to avoid silence. Because silence is no longer your enemy. It's your reset button. But let's be clear, solitude isn't about isolation.
know all of the phrases, like, you know the things, but implementing it into your life is a lot harder than just finding out the information and knowing about it. And I also know that somebody's going to say, like, just text your friend, hey, like, girl, let me tell you, when they talk about functional freeze and all of that, all the terminology around that, I am the epitome of that. I have picked up my phone, because when I tell you I think about my friends every single day, there's not one day that goes by and I do not think about these amazing women, okay? But when I pick up my phone, I literally freeze. And I don't know what to think. Like, my brain goes empty. Even though I just thought about this amazing message, or I'm going to call them or whatever, I pick up my phone and I literally freeze, because my body is so equipped to be in isolation that when it comes to stepping out of that comfort and that norm for me, it signals as like danger almost. Like, no, girl, don't do that. And I just kind of crumble and I distract myself with something. And I just fill my time up with tedious things. And I also fill my time up with more healing and more tasks to heal, because I start to overthink about how, well, you could work on this, because then you will be better to show up for them when you do reach out to them. All in all, I miss my people, and I don't really know what to do from here. I'm just trying to work through this in real time, and I'm trying to put myself out into the world as a means of, I guess, accountability for myself. I actually had talked to my uncle last week, and he's like, girl, just pick up the phone. If you don't know what to say, just keep calling. I'm like, nigga, that's hard. I got overstimulated listening to him say that off rip. And I'm like, I'm about to cry. I'm about to cry. I'm going to cry, actually. I'm probably going to cry when I get done recording this video. But this is really just the dark side of isolation. Isolation can be a beautiful thing, because I have grown so much in this space. But sometimes the thing that is the cure can also be the problem. Okay? My isolation has healed me greatly, but I'm not done healing. And the isolation is also hindering me. So I'm kind of in a catch-22. This space is doing wonders for me, but this space is also hurting me. So there's that. This video is getting really, really long. I'm gonna go now. Drop in the comments if you are an isolator when you go through it, and what do you do to get out of it if you do get out of it. Those of us who are like addicted to isolation, like, I'm here for you, girl. Support. Wow. Bye.
One thing that I will continue to scream from the mountaintops until we all get it is how important it is to get comfortable with your own company. And some people see this as selfish, but it absolutely is not. You are all you got. You and Jesus, of course, we got the Lord on our side. However, you start life with you and you will end life with you. Everything else will come and go. So not only is it important in that aspect, but we accept a whole lot less BS in our life when we're okay walking away and knowing that that means that we're going to be by ourselves. A lot of us stay in situations that are not good for us, bad on our mental, primarily because we don't want to be lonely, that we want someone to be able to call, someone to be able to hang out with, someone to go on a date with, someone to just tell us good morning. And when we do the work to be okay with our own company, you're not going to put up with just anything and everything just because you don't want to be alone. So if you are trying to become the best version of yourself in 2026 and this is not on the list, you're missing out on something huge. Spending the intentional time with yourself, going on the solo dates, doing things to learn yourself and be okay with just your own company is going to eliminate so much crap in your life because you'll no longer be afraid to drop the man, to drop the friend, to drop whatever situation that is not serving you, because you know, even though after this you're going to walk alone, you're going to be okay.
Forever. It's not about disappearing from life completely. It's about returning to yourself long enough to remember who you were before the world told you who to be. It's maintenance. Just like your phone needs charging, your mind does too, and you can't recharge in the same environment that drained you. Sometimes you have to log off, step back, go quiet. Not because you hate people, but because you love yourself enough to listen. Because the strongest version of you isn't built in noise, it's built in stillness. So if you've been feeling the urge to disappear for a while, don't panic. You're not losing yourself. You're finding yourself.